L. Nathan here, who is your normal host, is on vacation. And when I say it's a well-needed vacation, it really is a well-needed vacation. Mr. Hare is one of the hardest working men in the, as far as I know, period. So he'll be back next week. I'm just here for 1 week to stand in, but we're gonna keep the show moving. This show, make us part of your every Saturday morning here at ESPN 1520 on your AM dial from 11 to 12. Today's program is live, so you can call in, join the discussion. I hope you will. Our phone number here is 803-1520, 803-1520. If for any reason you don't have an opportunity to call, but still want more information or have a question about this or any other subject we cover, you can always email us at thinkagainkd@gmail.com. So, now, you know the deal is, when I come on a show, we usually switch it up and we usually do a little bit of education talk. But the reality is there's so much going on in the world of news that we can't even deviate over to the education side because we got to keep these conversations going. The first thing we want to talk about, I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna talk about 3 things a day. Maybe if we have time, we'll get into the 4th. Depends on how you are with your calling in this morning. But we got to talk about just Trump taking all the credit for the lowering of the unemployment rate, particularly as far as I'm concerned, the black unemployment rate. That goes back to its meme is, what do you have to lose? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I think, how does people feel about the fact that they said that there's a report that came out this week that says that this president has lied over 3,000 times on the record. He said, how do we live in a country where the commander-in-chief is just known as a pathological liar? So how do we set the record straight? So Mr. Hare has, organized some information so that we can at least make sure the record is clear, because you almost got to listen to him and watch his tweets, and because most of it just sounds like propaganda. I mean, it's not even actual. The president has access to people and resources to put out quality information. There's no reason for the president to be putting out propaganda. So we want to set the record straight. So we're going to have a segment on setting the record straight. Then a much more serious, well, that is serious, but on a serious note, we're also going to talk about what happens if Donald Trump refuses to be interviewed by the Mueller investigation, the special counsel. So, it's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to talk about. Again, we want you to join in the discussion with us, 803-1520, 803-1520. Trump, let's do this. Let's have a conversation first about giving credit where credit is due. Now, Trump has said that, he's the reason that we have such a low unemployment rate, particularly the black unemployment rate. So the Trump administration and the Republican circus have taken credit for the fall in black unemployment to the lowest level it has been on record. While the unemployment rate has fallen, looking to the actual trend line, you can see that black unemployment at the end of the Obama administration was at 7.9% in December of 2016, which was the lowest on record at that time. The unemployment rate under the Trump administration has simply continued this path that it was already on. He didn't do anything. So that's really the question. Any of your callers, can you name just one thing, name a single thing that Trump has done to affect the unemployment rate at all, let alone the black unemployment rate? So I have all the statistics here in front of me to lay out what the unemployment rate was when he came in, what the unemployment rate when Obama came in. As a matter of fact, under President Obama, unemployment fell from 12.1% at the end of 2008, at the height of the Bush Great Recession, to 7.9% at the end of the Obama administration, and 6.8% at the end of last year, and now at 6.9%. It takes a minute to really come to terms with the fact that President Trump wants to take credit for something that was already going on without even naming something he's done to get that result. That's really a point of frustration. Look at what I'm doing. He was doing. Remember when he did the same thing for the stock market? He took all the credit because the stock market was doing wonderful. Then we had that big crash, and then crickets. You don't hear nothing. You don't hear him taking credit for the cricket thing, right? For the crickets in the room. You don't hear him talking about nothing related to when the crash came. A little understood fact that can be teased out of these statistics is that every Republican administration since 1973 has been very hard on the fortunes of African American people. In fact, black unemployment was down to about 5.2% in 1973, went up to 12.5% at the end of the Gerald Ford administration, down to 9.3% at the end of Jimmy Carter's term in 1980, and spiked to 20.7% under the first 2 years of Ronald Reagan before falling to 9.8% in 1988. Saint Reagan. Yeah, I gotta be careful invoking that name. Went to 13.6% in 1992 at the end of the first Bush administration, before falling to 7.0% at the end of the Clinton administration, rising to 13.9% at the end of the second Bush administration, and in December of 2008, before falling back down to 7.9% at the end of the Obama administration. So basically what we're saying, the record is clear. This is what African American people have to lose under the Republican administration. There have been years when unemployment has fallen during the Republican administration, but those gains occurred and they were short-lived. So, I mean, here's the question. You know what I'm saying? I see that we got Tony out there. I mean, that's really the question. Is this something that the president can legitimately take credit for? I mean, the reality is that this is a trend that was already going in this direction. And now he's out there saying African Americans some kind of way. I'm not going to even get into the Kanye, the whole Kanye conversation about slavery was a choice, and then President Trump coming out and saying that his followers doubled, because his association with the president and slavery's choice. I don't even want to go down that road, but I do think this is a serious conversation that we gotta have when the record is not clear. The unemployment rate for African American workers has never been lower. Another sign of strength in our economy is what they say. Still at 6.8% in January 2018, black unemployment remained well above the rate for white people at 3.7%. So again, now we're talking about what it is, but what it is by comparison, and that disparity is deeply rooted in a continual cause of concern for economists and advocates. So we talk about the racial unemployment gap continues to be a problem. So he ain't talking about the ability to affect that. Ultimately, more people are working all together, all around. But again, those are all trends that were started under the Obama administration. All they did is continue under the Trump administration. So, I see this Tony out there. I got a little bit of my initial question out there. There's quite a bit more that I want to get into as far as that, but I want to get you into the conversation, Tony, and tell me, has there anything that Trump has done at all to affect the unemployment rate to where he can run around taking credit for something that was really going on before he got here? So if you want to join the call us at 803-1520, 803-1520. Tony from Clarence, are you there? Okay. There's 3,100 of them right here in West New York. There's 3,100 jobs that we can't find people to fill right here in West New York. Wow. No, tell me. You talk about, and so people know that CHIP is the insurance program for children and for low income people, people with low income. So yeah, this is a really really important initiative. And you said they cut it by $7.3 billion. Yeah. Yep. Be best at, so people know that that's the first lady was doing a what she called her Be Best campaign. So that got rolled out this week. So what are you saying about the Be Best campaign? Tony, let me ask you this question while you're on that, because I mean it was interesting today this week to listen to Vice President Pence talk about but he talked about that the Mueller probe must come to an end. This is really really interesting to me to hear Republicans attack law and order, to hear Republicans attack the DOJ and the FBI and the CIA. It's really, I mean, if you got a special counsel, how is it that the vice president or the Republican Congress could know whether he got enough information to be able to, stop the investigation or not? I mean, for them to suggest that they should stop doing this investigation, to me, it's just anti-Republican. I mean, anti-everything that Republicans have ever stood for. For them to actually buy into this Trump notion that this is a witch hunt, and especially in light of the fact that now you got Russian oligarchs, who have given money. Now you got Mike, his lawyer Cohen, who has taken money from people associated with them. I mean, it's all kind of ways that this thing can continue going. What is going on with the Republicans that they actually at this point have got to a place where they're attacking people that they used to be, this used to be their bread and butter. Well, here's something I would agree with you on. People are making an assumption that because of the initial elections we've seen, that there's going to be this blue wave that's going to take place during the midterms. I think that's miscalculation. I don't think this is almost like where we were at, 2 years ago when everybody said that this was going to be a landslide against Trump. I mean, I think if people assume there's going to be a blue wave, and we do not put together what you said, a clear vision, what we stand for, a clear strategy, I think that, we are in for a surprise. I mean, because no matter what Trump does, he said it himself. He can go stand in the middle of, Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and he's still going to keep his same base of support. And then you got, which to me is the biggest shock, the evangelicals, which are not, no matter what he does, good Lord, this Stormy Daniels thing is just ridiculous, and the evangelicals are supporting him across the board. And so, at this point, I don't think we should, stake our hopes in this blue wave. I think there's a lot of work to be done to make sure that we have a possibility of taking back the House and at least and potentially taking back the Senate. I don't wait. What you talking about? I haven't heard this. What happened here? Okay.
He needs too much money.
Okay.
And what happened was, according to what they're reporting now, is $26 million went to some person that Melania Trump basically directed the money to be given.
Wow.
But just think about it. With the Cohen thing, it's only $4.5 million that disappeared. Just follow the money. Michael Avanti is our hero right now. He put out all these things that are true, and they can't. And all these companies now have to lie their way out of payments they made to Cohen for nefarious reasons.
I wonder if this Trump's definition of draining the swamp. It sounds like what he did is make the swamp more swampier. You know what I'm saying? He drained the swamp. I mean, listen to this guy on the campaign trail talk about that this is what was going on, especially with Clinton. And now that he wasn't even all the way in office yet, and Cohen was out there doing that same thing. He blaming other people for. So I mean, it's a really, really interesting turn of affairs. Hey, Tony, anything you want to say before we go on to our next caller?
Yeah, I don't know what draining the swamp means anyway.
All right, so Tony. All right, so we appreciate your call. Looking forward to hearing you again next week. All right, next we got Kevin from Pendleton. Kevin, how you doing today?
Hello, my brother. What's happening?
Oh, it's a good day to be alive. I don't got no complaints. So, Kevin, what's your thoughts today?
Well, I'm rather surprised that your topic today, the topic that you guys conveniently chose today, when we have a crisis in the New York State leadership, starting with
Good point. Now, listen, I hear you.
governors and now the chief law enforcement officer. Oh wait, if there were Republicans, then that would have been on the front burner today. Now, by the way, you know I'm not a Republican, right?
Right, but listen. I mean, I think you make a legitimate point that the fact that Schneiderman, our Attorney General, had to abruptly resign is a legitimate topic for news, and is worth discussing. I mean, I don't disagree with you on that.
Over and over, yes, okay, Trump, Trump's a liar, he has no integrity, and then over and over. But this is something, this is at a critical crisis right now, right?
Well, okay, Kevin, let's not overdo it now. The Attorney General of New York State is not the same as the President of the free world. Let's not overplay it. I think it's important. You know what I'm saying?
You're supposed to be the party that's supposed to be the champions for the women and the oppressed and so on, and you guys will waving the moral compass in front of everyone. And now look at this now. Your party
shouldn't the president resign?
Yeah, I was
lying on a porn star.
Well, Kevin, let me just ask a question. If we, Kevin, seriously, if we use that standard, right, which I don't think is a bad thing. I actually think we should use that standard, right? Why doesn't the president do the same thing that Attorney General Schneiderman did?
In what way?
The Attorney General Schneiderman, 3 hours after it became public, he resigned.
Right.
So the president. So what's going on? What's taking the president so long?
Okay. So what I'm trying to say to you here is that you think you think Trump, you President Trump in the same category as Schneiderman?
No, first of all, Trump has admitted it. You know what I'm saying? Trump said he went on and on the.
But look at the woman he hung out with, Stormy Daniels. Come on.
What's the point you're making?
That's the point I'm making. Okay? Stormy Daniels is not the type of girl you'd want to take home to mother. Maybe some guys would.
Well, but listen to the point I'm making is that Trump and the Access Hollywood audio tape, you know what I'm saying, he admitted that he did that this is what he has done. At least Schneiderman in this particular case is saying that he didn't do that. This was all consensual, and essentially, he resigned to not be a distraction. Look at the level of distraction all the escapades of Trump have led to, and he hasn't even remotely thought of resigning, even though people all around him are resigning. Every Democratic example you can come up with, they've resigned.
Yeah. Well, just remember one thing, though. Just remember one thing, though. That this is something that okay, while you have him on tape saying that, okay. Now remember, again, look at Donald Trump. The Republicans,
dozens of accusers,
who support him no matter what. And you just said yourself, right? He can go down Fifth Avenue and shoot someone, they will still vote for Trump. Just like you have people that will support Al Sharpton with his, very questionable history, right? No matter what. Some
Yeah,
of us,
but don't let's not put. I mean, Trump has dozens and dozens of accusers, and he has an admission, and now he's in the Oval Office representing the United States, and I mean the leader of the free world, and he has no shame whatsoever. I mean, and he has the audacity to talk about other people around him.
well, the thing is, though, is that you have these accusers that say these things about Trump. How come it hasn't gone anywhere? Like it has in the case of Cosby and Schneiderman
Now, and that's a really good question. Now, I think that's what this conversation we have about the Mueller investigation is going to come to. I think that it is going to go somewhere. I mean, the reality is, he's the president of the United States, and he's using that office to protect himself. I mean, that's why we having this public conversation about, will he testify or won't he testify? I mean, that conversation is coming. I mean, I don't know if he's going to testify or not. But at the end of the day, at the end of the show, the next segment, we're going to talk about whether he should testify or not. So, either way it go. I mean, you raised some good points, but you know what? And I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to come back on the other side of the break. But I think as equally a conversation that we should have that that wasn't part of what we were intending to talk about, but this thing that went on with the person on Trump's staff that talked about a man dying of cancer. We have a senator dying of cancer, and the way that was just cavalierly and just totally disrespectfully dealt with, I think is something that is equally worth talking about, and it should be talked about. But either way it go, we appreciate you joining us for this first segment of the show here on ESPN 1520. We'll catch you right on the other side of the break, so we'll see you on the other side of the break here at Think Again, Think Again.
Would you like to increase your home's value? Do you want to lower your energy
One thing,
bill?
Sam,
Are you in need of affordable? Learn about all the home improvement programs you may be eligible for and ask about the affordable financing program that can help turn your house into your dream home. Call 332-3773 for more info. It's the Home Improvement Resource Program, restoring value to neighborhoods across Erie County, one house at a time. Brought to you by the Community Action Organization of Erie County.
Are you addicted to drugs or alcohol? Even if you think you might have a problem, call this number right now for free information. 800-647-1141. That's 800-647-1141. By calling the Addiction Rehab Specialist, you're taking the first steps to recovery. Their advisors are ready to match you with a proven 5-star facility right now. A call is free and the information is free. 800-647-1141. The federal government says you can have up to 90 days off work for treatment. And if you have insurance through your employer, it could mean little to no cost to you. This free call is completely confidential. Seriously, pick up the phone and call us now. Our advisors are standing by. 800-647-1141. 800-647-1141. That's 800-647-1141.
Just so you're aware, our bumper music will be dedicated to Michael.
I'm a fool to do your dirty work. Oh yeah.
All right. I'm a fool to do your dirty work. Dedicated to Mike Cohen. All right, that's good. That's a good intro back. All right, good morning, everybody. This is Sam Radford. I'm here with you, sitting there for Mr. L. Nathan here for the Think Again show here at WWKB ESPN 1520. This is a call-in show. We've been having a couple of good calls this morning. So if you want to join us, please join us. Call us 803-1520, 803-1520. And because there are a number of calls, and you want to get in, if it's busy, you can call 803-0321, 803-0321, or 0324 or 0323. 803-0323, 803-0324. So if you're calling 803-1520 and it's busy, just call one of those other lines. I see that we got a full bank of phone calls, and so we want to switch our conversation a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I want to, called you welcome to talk about what you called to talk about, but I do want to at least introduce the conversation about what happens if Trump doesn't testify to the special counsel, because now it's really looking like that. And also I think it's at least worth discussing a little bit about the insensitivity of Trump staff in this attack on John McCain, saying his opposition to Trump's and his nominees don't matter because he's dying anyway. I just think, what have we come to as a country when our political dialogue has been digressed to that level where we're insensitive even to life? So we got a couple calls on the line. We got Ray from Amherst. Ray, how you doing today?
Good morning, Sam.
Good morning.
You're doing a good job, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm glad Mr. Travis here. Be happy to hear that.
Great filling. Number one, the Schneiderman thing versus Stormy Daniels. Schneiderman has been credibly accused of being violently attacking women, physically abuse. That's a long, long way from consensual sex with a porn star. It's laughable to the general public that they're making. We knew what Trump was going in. This was not anything, surprising. Everybody knew what Trump was. Consensual sex versus violently abusing women, two different things. Would you not agree?
Well, first of all, when you say we knew going in, does that make it any better? The fact that now this is the president of the United States, we knew going in that this is a person who took responsibility for, literally intentionally violating women. He said he would grab them because they wanted it. You saying that that's the person we want to have for the president of the United States?
I think what he says and what he did are two different things. Number one. Number two.
Wait. So you saying he's lying?
Yeah, I think men brag in the locker room.
Okay, wait a minute. So now we got a president that lies because don't forget that even though you're saying it's consensual, I've heard. This is not what his accusers are saying. Those people who he violated are not saying that. So some people say he had some consensual stuff with him, but again, we haven't even heard from the people on the incitement side. But I think if you're trying to make the comparison, that there really is no comparison in the fact that one of these people is the president of the United States. This person represents us to the free world.
It's extraneous noise to the American public. This man just ended the Korean War.
Well, so wait a minute. You saying that a president who literally, the things that he have done to women and women have said he has done to them, that's extraneous noise? To the evangelicals, that's extraneous noise?
He did not abuse women.
Wow. He admitted, I'm telling you what he said. Oh, I'm sorry. You said he was lying when he said that. So he didn't abuse women, but he is a liar.
That's locker room braggadocio. Men do it all the time.
But he wasn't telling the truth when he was doing his locker room braggadocio.
Of course. He lies. Trump lies.
Okay. Okay, there you go. All right.
They all lie.
Okay, so at this point, he's the president of the United States. This man has more access to accurate information, quality information, than probably any human being on the planet. Why does he have to sit around and tweet out lies when he has access to the experts all and every level to give him the truth?
Because he's got a personality disorder.
And he's the president of the United States with a personality disorder.
They all lie, all of them.
Okay.
The bottom line is the American people, he's going after the drug companies as of yesterday, same thing Bernie Sanders was going to do. I was a Bernie Sanders supporter. He's going after Mexico. He's going after China. He's going to get the trade balance fixed.
Okay, see, why I got you on the line, because I got a lot of calls on the line. I wanted you to just answer one question, right? At the beginning of the show, we talked about him taking credit for the unemployment rate, particularly the black unemployment rate, all of which were going down under the Obama administration. Tell me one thing he has done to affect the black unemployment rate.
Well, he cut the corporate tax rate tremendously. Corporations are moving back into the country to build manufacturing
Okay, name one.
facilities.
Name one.
Huh?
Name one.
Well, we've got it right here in Buffalo, Tesla.
Tesla is moving back into the country?
Solar City.
So what you saying, they moving back into the country?
Solar City.
They were already here. They're not moving back into the country.
No, they were building solar panels over in China.
Okay, so your answer is Solar City. So I'm gonna check out. I don't think that's true, but
Going on for like 3 years.
you said because Solar City was going on. Actually, all the work for Solar City actually been going on. Started under Obama. That didn't start under Trump, if I'm correct. Is that true?
It's gone.
So I mean, I know that's going to be difficult. I'm asking a question. I'm being more rhetorical, but if somebody can come up with an answer, I would love to hear an answer. But clearly, Solar City is that was going on way before President Trump even thought about being president. So again, we got a full bank of calls. If you want to join us, you can call us at 803-1520, 803-0321, 803-0323, or 803-0324. So we got Jerry from West Seneca. How you doing out there, Jerry?
Jerry needs to turn down his radio. Go
Hey,
Frank.
Hey Jerry, what we're gonna do is turn down your radio because I'm getting an echo. So we're gonna go to the next call. We're gonna come back to you, Jerry. Okay. So let's go to Frank in Niagara Falls. Hey Frank, how you doing out there?
Great, thank you. You know, a few weeks back I said Trump was a promo guy. He's the white Don King. And let's face it, he's good at it, especially with weak-minded fools and rich guy groups.
So you said now this is the president of the United States you're talking about now.
Hey, he conned 62,979,879 voters until electing him president.
Wow, you got it down to the last voter, and even that wasn't a majority of the voters, correct?
I still have nightmares over all those voters.
I'm sure some of them are too.
You know, proof of that, I mean, did you see that photo op of Trump at 3 a.m. greeting the Americans held prisoners in North Korea?
I'm glad you brought that up. I wasn't going to talk about this, but you know what I find most interesting about this photo op and I think that's great that they freed the prisoners from North Korea. But for him to give all that credit to the Korean dictator Kim, and not talk about the fact that they should have never been taken hostage in the first place. You're giving them credit for freeing people that should have never been taken hostage in the first place. It's almost like he playing right into Kim's hand, and it makes no sense to me why you would think that's something worth having a photo op over.
Do you know how many hostages were released during the Obama-Biden administration?
No, how many were?
11.
And we didn't see one photo op.
And the corporate media didn't hardly cover it. Now, if you watch that photo op of Trump, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in the background. He's got this goofy look on his face like he just had a session with Stormy Daniels. But honestly, I wish Democrats were as good at tooting their own horns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you. But the other side of that is that when you compare just the way the media is covering Trump versus Obama, literally, Trump is the news every single day. You can't get away from this guy. So their ability to keep themselves in the public conversation is amazing. You know what I'm saying? So, I think there's no question about the fact that, as Democrats, we're going to have to figure out a way to stay, especially in a social media world. Think about how strategically Trump in particular, I won't say Republicans, but Trump in particular has used social media to keep the news on him, saying crazy stuff to keep the conversation. That strategically, we're going to have to find ways to keep younger people engaged in the conversation about what's going on politically by using social media.
During the 2016 primaries, even MSNBC would cut away from a Bernie Sanders speech to show an empty podium of waiting for Trump. That's how bad it was. They gave him the election, all that free airtime. He got millions of dollars of free airtime from the corporate media. Now he's calling them fake media. So, hey, thank you for the time.
Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate it, Frank. All right, so we're gonna go back. Go, hey Jerry. Did you turn your radio down, Jerry, in West Seneca?
Yes, hi Sam.
Hey Jerry, how you doing today?
Doing good. How you doing?
It's a good day to be alive, Jerry. I ain't got no complaints.
Yeah, any day's a good day to be alive.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it, especially today.
Yeah, gee, this whole thing with Trump is amazing. It just seems like there's two things he wants to do. He wants to do away with everything that Obama did, and he wants to, seems like he wants to make the inequality a lot worse than it is now.
Oh my gosh, and I think that it was interesting to me about that, Jerry, is he literally is, setting up a platform basically to undo anything Obama did. That's actually, I've seen presidents disagree. I don't think President Obama agreed with a lot of stuff that George Bush did, but he didn't build a platform on undoing. An American president is an American president. And for him to now just take credit for undoing everything Obama has done is just kind of crazy.
Yeah, he started out with the Affordable Care Act, tried to do away with that, but he wasn't successful, and then the Iran deal, the climate accord deal. It just seems like I don't know. This guy is he's actually taking care of his own. The inequality is so bad in this. I guess it's the worst of any developed country in the world right now, and it's that way because of the way our policies have been for decades, with the destruction of the unions and the lobbyists getting their own ways, and it's just going to keep getting worse. Trump is willing to literally destroy all the precious natural resources that we don't have a lot left of because of our overpopulation. He's willing to destroy what little we have left in the name of profit, and it's not in the name of giving any working people better jobs and better pay and better benefits, and it's the name of making him and his rich friends that he's taking care of richer.
And when we talk about inequality, I think you make a major point. We talked earlier a little about even with the unemployment rate dropping, we haven't seen the inequities that's associated with that addressed at all. And even more important than that, I don't even think he cares about the inequities. It's the first time. Even you can go to a Bush or even a Reagan or somebody, and people had a sensitivity to inequality in a way that his insensitivity to it is just unprecedented. And I don't think it's good for the country. I think at the end of the day, what does it say about us? What does it say about us as a country?
Right, and you're right. That's the way. That's why the working people and the middle class people of America, they don't feel recovery, because even though the unemployment rate is low, they're not making the money that they used to make. Not anywhere near it, and of course everything in life goes up, and your money that you're making either stays the same or goes down, and that's the way it's been for decades now. And I think it's been just as bad for the Democrats, Republicans. They've both been bad for working people, I think.
Well, Jerry, you make a good point, and I want to re-emphasize that, because it's so easy, because the economy is good right now, for people to say, well, things are going wonderful, but the truth of the matter is that even with an improved economy, your dollar don't go as far. So they ain't like the working class or low people with low income. It ain't like they feel it. You know what I'm saying? So you get a cut in the corporate tax rate. So the rich people get richer, and the economy seems to be doing better, but it's not really reaching to the working average everyday working person in the middle class. So hey, Jerry, there was some really great points. I'm glad you brought them up. Thanks a lot. But our phone lines are still going. If you want to call us, we at 803-1520, 803-321. We got. Coming up next is, I see.
Let's go to a break.
We're gonna go. Well, listen. I got Ron from Cheektowaga, John from Rochester. We're gonna get to both of you and anybody else that's on hold. But we need to pay some bills. Let's do our last break here, and we will see you on the other side of the break here at Think Again, Think Again.
Would you like to increase your home
My father always calls it the most inopportune. Leave me alone producing a show, Dad.
Get ready, get ready, get ready. This is Sam Radford with the Think Again radio show here at ESPN 1520 WWKB. Sitting in for Mr. L. Nathan Hare. Thank you. Well, we've been having a great discussion. I just wanted to make one last point coming off that, the last conversation that I think that was Jerry we was talking to, that, Trump has actually affected policies that sustain or increase the U.S.'s position as the fourth highest income inequality in the world. You know what I'm saying? That's for us as one of the leaders of the free world to have such a high income inequality. It's just an unacceptable position to be in, and Trump is just basically perpetuating that. But I see our phone lines are continuing to be full. So if you want to join us, 803-1520. If that line is busy, you can go to 803-0321 or 803-023 or 803-0324. So thank you. I see that we have next on the line, we have Ron from Cheektowaga. Ron, how you doing out there?
This is Ron you got here.
Hey, Ron, how you doing today?
All right. Okay. The last budget deficit, and this is the Republicans scream about all the time, the last budget deficit under Obama, which would have been ending the year of September 30th of 2017, had been in a steady downward trend from the summer of 2010,
right,
down to below $400 billion.
That's right.
With the tax cuts that they put in place in December, the budget deficit will begin this first full Trump year, which ends September 30th of 2018, will be over a $1.1 trillion.
A $1 trillion deficit.
Yes. So, and you hear almost nothing about this except that you're hearing them, what they're going to do is the same thing they did under Bush. Start to cut all the social programs.
That's
they're
right.
peddling this. They're already talking about cutting $17 billion from SNAP. They're already talking about cutting $400 billion from Medicaid. When you do this, what you do is you knock people out of the economic mainstream. And even though they had to drag the Republicans kicking and screaming into it under Obama, they brought more people into the economic mainstream with the health care reform and with as paltry as it really was by comparison to what we need with the stimulus package and that. Okay, so when you knock people out of the economic mainstream, when all they can barely afford, if they can afford that, is food, clothing, and shelter, they don't buy TVs, they don't buy radios, they don't buy any of the new gadgetries, computer stuff, and they can't afford to buy houses. You're seeing the housing bubble again. Bloomberg had it up there about a month or two ago. The housing bubble caused by the subprime derivatives, which a part of which were the deregulations aren't being enforced by Trump, and part of which were destroyed by the courts under the Obama administration when the real estate industry and the hedge funds sued. You're starting to see the same conditions created as existed in 2006, 2007, before the collapse.
Wait, so what you're actually saying, this is really interesting what you're saying. You're actually saying really the exact opposite of what we think is happening is really happening. You're saying that under Obama, that we actually were bringing people into the economic mainstream, and Trump is benefiting from the end of that, but he's actually doing things to undermine it.
Absolutely what's happening. It doesn't get much publicity. And again, where are these deficit hawks? At one point,
hey, wait, where's the deficit hawk? He gives $1 trillion increase to the deficit, and with $1 trillion tax cut. Where the deficit cut?
Exactly. That's what caused it. I mean, you didn't see it jump in a good economy. You don't see the deficit jump by $600-700 billion within literally 1 year. Of course, it's caused by the tax cut.
Well, so you're saying we should actually stop calling this a good economy. Actually, this is really an illusion.
And eventually, yeah. And by the way, the average person, remember all this stuff about $4,000 a year tax cut for everybody? That's if you take the aggregate up to $250,000. But if you count where 80% of the people, remember, 80% of the people in this country make between $20,000 and $60,000. Their average is $50 a month. Has anybody looked at gas prices?
Right. And with this pulling out of the Iran deal, I mean, that gas price is about to shoot up. The oil prices went up this whole week.
a month tax cut is going right to ExxonMobil and Standard and all in terms of oil price. And that at a time when Donald Trump, the futures for these oil companies are going wildly nuts. And this is before he pulled out of the Iran deal. Why is that? Futures should be flat or even dropping because the amount of land for drilling, Trump has literally increased the available land for drilling by 50% in 1 year. That big Arctic thing that he's allowed to dig in, that big preserve in Utah that he cut by 80%, all that offshore drilling. You would think that futures, which are based on the availability of product, you would think they'd be dropping. Why aren't they dropping? And
so what's the answer to that question?
Of the oil, of the Iran deal.
So before you move on, tell me what's the answer to that question? Why aren't futures dropping?
Because the Republicans are in power and they're gouging the hell out of us like they usually do.
Wow. You know what, Julian? You raised a lot of good points. I mean, it may be important for us to stop saying things like the economy is doing great. We should be saying the economy is doing great for the rich, and basically, and then everybody else, have the illusion of doing well, but really it's actually the same or going backwards.
And they are creating the same conditions as existed in 06 and 07. Yes, they're doing it. And what makes me believe, and I don't have absolute proof of this, except that it seems to happen an awful lot when Republicans do. It's like Wall Street. This whole Wall Street thing. First of all, they're taking most of that tax cut. According to, again, Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal, these are conservative publications. They're not some hippie pot-smoking professor from Berkeley. Okay, 85% of the tax cut by the Fortune 500 is going into buyback stock options so they can raise the price, because a lot of these CEOs and these officials and that own large amounts of their own stock. So they take that and buy it and inflate the price of their stock so they make more money on Wall Street.
Wow.
Okay, but even more than that, the whole bit of Wall Street, I believe, because you see this all the time, and what happened after the last collapse, and what happened after the collapse in the 87, the banks and the financial houses actually got bigger. So I'm believe that those people know exactly when they're going to crash the market, and then they get richer on it off of it by selling short because they know insider trading. I have to believe that the system is totally rigged and totally corrupt.
Wow. And you saying we're having less regulation